one of my mentors or one of my coaches actually asked me, or they suggested to me that when we come to a position where we're going to make a decision, and you are watching Empire, and I'm reading books, you are going to make a decision based on the TV show Empire, and I am going to be building an empire based on the information that I've gotten from the books.
It's good to have you on the show, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
I've been waiting for this conversation, and I hope that people are going to learn so much from this conversation. There is so much that you learn, when you cross-pollinate with other similar minds. And I've always loved conversing with you because every time I have a conversation, I always have a piece of a pie that I go back home with. So it's really good to have you on the show.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. Hopefully, we're going to have something that's deep and insightful.
Definitely. Well, you've had so much experience in coaching people on an individual basis, especially on the aspect of things like career guidance. And if you look deeper into those things are mainly centered on the aspect of decision making. And every day of our lives, we're confronted with situations on a daily basis that requires to be making decisions. Whether those decisions are of high value or low value is still centered on making decisions. Simple things such as waking up early in the morning. What am I going to wear today? What am I going to eat today? Where am I going to meet today? How am I going to schedule my day today? All that is centered on decision making. And some of these decisions, of course, they do not really have an impact on other people, but they are also high-scale decisions that affect not only you, but the people that surround you, your company, your family, your future. And I think it's very important for us to have this deep conversation on how people can improve their decision-making process. And I think you are one of the people that are really, really well-versed in this aspect because you advise a lot of people. Now, can you just take us through this whole aspect of making quality decisions? How can one be in a position to make a quality decision? Now, this is not to say people, even if they make quality decisions, they won't be able to make a mistake. But I think just being in a position of making a better quality decision is to your advantage as an individual. How can somebody improve that process?
So basically, I think the first thing that we have to put into account is there's no high quality decision and there's no low quality decision. Okay. There's always a good decision. I always run the motto: small steps cover great distances. So it's very important to put into account that every decision that you make has a ripple effect. Okay. Right? So it's either going to be positive or negative. Who you hang around with, what time you wake up in the morning, it always has a ripple effect. Like how your day starts, it always triggers how your day ends. Because you're going to go into a transition where we always say time is money, but time is the most important thing. So every other second is very, very important, how you spend it. And what decisions you make towards every other second in your life is very, very important. So we're not going to separate saying high-profile decisions or low-profile decisions. We're going to talk about decisions, and we're going to talk about building a decision-making system. A decision-making system that will help you in making business decisions that affect yourself personally, and eventually decisions that affect not just you, but you, your family, your surroundings, and everyone that's around you in every position that you are in. So there's no high-profile decision, there's no low-profile decisions. There's always important day-to-day decisions. So if we put that out of the way, then we're going to have a clearer path to decision-making. So I think the most important thing when it comes to making good decisions, like you said, it's not always going to be perfect decisions. It might be mistakes along the way. And especially when it comes to, business, you can have decisions that you make that don't always give you the best results. Right? Yeah. So in line with that, I'd like to separate two different types of people. There are different types of people. You might have the population of the world is different types of people, because me and you were different just as much as everyone else is different. So I'm just going to separate two different types of people and then put it all together so that it makes a little bit more sense to everyone. So firstly, we're going to have people who make calculated decisions, like people who plan ahead. And then we're going to have people who make impulsive decisions. Those are the two main branches of people. We have risk takers who always see the most exciting thing about the decision that they're going to make, and then they run for it. And oftentimes we say these people are prone to making more mistakes, right? basically we are inclined to say these people are prone to making more mistakes all the time. And then we have people who have calculated decisions, who always think about making a plan, looking at the risk factors, putting into all of that into account, and then eventually making a decision towards all of that. But those people, we are always inclined to saying they make a little less mistakes compared to people that make inclined. Yeah. But then I'd like to say to you, if we have a decision-making system in place, it really doesn't matter if you are a person who makes impulsive decisions or a person who makes calculated decisions. Why? Because I've had the liberty of, or I've had, the fortune of working with different types of clients. I've worked with what I would like to call introverts, who are people who are really calculated in their decision making. They always wait. You have executives that wait and say, put their team in place to bring a plan, to have a well-calculated plan. They bring it to you. You talk about it for hours before you make a decision towards that. And I've had the liberty of also working with Fortune 100, a Fortune 100, executive who is really inclined to making impulsive decisions, who is always has meetings that take 5 or 10 minutes. Whenever he's in the building, he just needs 5 to 10 minutes to make a decision. He gets there, he sits, he tells his team, give me the idea. They get the idea, give me the risk factors. They give him the risk factors quickly, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and he's out. But because he has a very good decision-making system, he's able to make decisions that are good not only for him, not only for his team, but also good for his for his company. That's why he has become successful. Yeah. So why is it like that? It is like that because all of these decisions that we make on a day-to-day, they have to be deep-seated in our value system, what we value the most. So building a decision-making system is very much attached to your value system. Because I always say this, I am an essentialism and career management coach. And the first thing that I build with my clients is essentialism. So essentialism is building a decision-making system that allows you to only focus on the things that are essential. Identifying the things that are not essential in your life and eliminating the things that are not essential. So an essentialist, whether you make impulsive decisions or you are a calculated essentialist, it really comes down to what you value the most and what is essential to you. And on a day-to-day, you always have a voice that's ringing in your head, which means you're more in contact with your instincts. And it tells you if it is not a definite yes, it is an absolute no. Yes. So it is easier for you to make a decision if you have a value system that allows you to identify the things that are essential and also to identify the things that are non-essential and be able to eliminate the things that are not essential and focus on the things that are essential to you. So number one is to have a value system. And not many people, in a fast-paced world, we have things going on in a fast pace. We are always making decisions. We are always, changing, and we're always focused on the next person and what's going to happen next because things are fast evolving. And because we're in contact with many people, I think at a young age, we're focused on social media. At an older age, we're focused on the stocks, we're focused on the stock market, we're focused on how business is going and all of that. We're also focused on our family, we're focused on our friends and what's going on with them. We always forget to be in touch with our values, which is our value system. So when I work with my clients, the first thing that we do is to identify the things that you value the most. Because these things, they affect every aspect of your life. They affect the things that you tolerate. They affect the decisions that you make because of the things that you tolerate. They affect why you do something, what you do, and how you do it on a day-to-day. They affect who you have conversations with, who you take into your life, right? Because I've had a couple of videos that you've had on your show where you've talked about the people that you hang around with, they tell your future. Like, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. So this value system also accounts for the people that you hang around with, and why you hang around with them, and how you hang around with them. Right? It also, it also affects the time that you put towards your work, the time that you put towards your play, the time that you put towards your family, the time that you put towards yourself. It is all centered around your value system. How do we develop a value system? Because usually we have clients that have no idea, people that have gone through the better part of their life and they have no idea the things that they value the most. It always comes to trying to think about, what do I say yes to and what do I say no to? Yeah. So if you know that something is valued to you and it happens, automatically, or it happens without you thinking about it, then you don't have a value system. You're working on a day-to-day, so you can easily make mistakes or you can easily make bad decisions. Because, for example, if you're going to value going out and doing shopping because maybe as a young man, your parents have asked you to do it, and then when you get into the city, it's easy for you to meet up with friends and not complete the shopping and get back home on time. Yeah. Which really has a ripple effect, because it has inconvenienced not just you, but also it has inconvenienced your parents, and it has inconvenienced your next day because you have to redo the shopping. So those are some of the basic decisions. As an executive, you do not value the time that you can save off of meetings. So you don't have, maybe it's company policy that we have an agenda before a meeting, but you have no idea why we have an agenda before a meeting. But the reason why we have an agenda before a meeting and we have to stick to that agenda is because we have to save time, because time is productivity. But if you don't value that and you don't have a value system instilled in you to know exactly what you're doing, it means that you can easily carry forward the meeting by 5 to 10 minutes, which has a ripple effect because you've taken off your staff off of your productivity. Yeah. So every other decision, if it is not aligned to your day-to-day value system, then you don't have a value system at all. Even if you are there for your family time, but you have no idea that your family is your value, then you don't have a value system. All right, so let's get into how to develop a value system. I'd like to start with a very common Bible verse that we have always mentioned on this show, which is Habakkuk 2:2, which is write your vision down and make it plain, so that he may see it, may run. All right. Why do I bring that up? Is mostly when we talk about that verse and we want to align it to our day-to-day lives, we always talk about our goals, right? Write your goal down, right? Write your vision board down. But let's talk about our values, because they affect our goals and our vision. Right. So the most important thing that I always talk to my clients about is sitting down and writing down your values. Writing them down. Usually when I start with my clients, I personally have up to 150 things that I've written down as the things that I value. Yeah. Right. And some of the things they might seem not very important, but they are very, very important. In a way where I've worked with one client and I've told them that humor, a good sense of humor, is very valuable to me. So every time that I come across maybe a friend or a partner or a business partner, and it's awkward and we can't have, a good time aside of work, it's very difficult for me to work with them, because when it's awkward, I'm not in my comfortable state. And when I'm not in my comfortable state, I'm not an essentialist, because I'm not at a position where I have my highest point of contribution. I'm worried about how you're going to feel about what I'm going to say. So it really affects our productivity.
All right. Yeah.
So let's say we have a meeting. Me and you, we have a meeting now. We're having this talk. Let's say people are listening and they don't have the same level of humor that I do. It doesn't have to be really the same level, but they don't have humor as something that is valuable to them. Yep. If I throw a random joke and we laugh about it, then someone is definitely going to click off this YouTube channel, because they don't value humor. So it means we're not acquainted. We're not going to come together well. We don't share the same values. So this is some of the things that we put aside as not very important, but they are very, very important in how they affect our productivity as people will come together, or me as myself, choosing what to watch on television. It has to be aligned to your value system. I think some time back I told you that I'm not really inclined to watching TV or watching movies. Why? Because one of my mentors or one of my coaches actually asked me, or they suggested to me that when we come to a position where we're going to make a decision, and you are watching Empire, and I'm reading books, you are going to make a decision based on the TV show Empire, and I am going to be building an empire based on the information that I've gotten from the books.
Just pause.
But
let it just sink in, man. That was
But it is the same position that we are both in, but because we have different value system, we're going to make different decisions because we've built towards making that decision in a different way. He has a value system and I don't. And he has always made himself ready for that position. We always talk about God's time is going to come, right? I'm waiting for God's time. At some point, keep grinding and then you get there. Some of us don't get there because we don't have a value system that is going to build us to be ready to get to that position. When we get to a position where we have to make a decision and our value system is not, it's AWOL, it's not available, then we're going to make a stupid decision or we're going to make a bad decision because we have not built ourselves towards that. So our value system, it affects our day to day. So writing down your values. What do I value the most? I value integrity. I value charity or charitability. I value honesty. And I think, yesterday or this morning, you posted something on your Instagram or on your WhatsApp status that said something about if you build a relationship on lies, then the truth is going to separate you.
Definitely.
Right. So if your value system is honesty, then it means you're always going to be bound by honesty.
Yeah.
And every other position, whether we make good decisions or we make bad decisions or we get into a position where we annoy each other or anything, then we're going to be open to each other that, no, this is not what I want. And I'm able to understand you as a business partner or as a friend because I know what you value.
Yeah.
Right? If you value your time, if you value punctuality, if you value your time, and if you value being in a position of value, right, having the right people around you, then you're never going to have people calling you and saying, let's go out.
Because they understand what you value.
Yeah. I'm 26. I go for a month without anyone calling me, let's go out. I'm the one who calls them out and say, you know what? Do you want to hang out and have lunch? Why is that important? I always say this to my clients. The thing is, when someone calls you to do something, they are already done with their day. They've done the best that they could. And then because they are complete with what they should have done that day, then they call you out. But then usually, because we don't have a decision-making system, we don't have a value system, we're always inclined to say, because this is my friend, yes. But you're not yet done with your day, which means you have not put your best possible contribution. It has a ripple effect again, because tomorrow you're going to spend time doing the things that you're supposed to do today. So again, I've dropped a gem, but I think we missed it. Our value system affects our decision-making system.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So writing it down one by one. Start off with maybe 10, right? Have a friend for accountability. If you're inclined to having a coach, if you can afford a coach, have a coach for accountability. These are the things that I value. Always reflect to that. At the beginning of the day, as you read your goals, go through your value system, go through your goals, go through your vision board. And then when you go through the things that you value, you're always inclined to the things that you value. When you see it, you know it. And when it's not there, it's a definite no. If you value integrity, then you're always going to be inclined to making decisions that maintain your integrity, not just in public, but to yourself. If you value family, then you're always going to do things that are going to affect your family in a positive way, not in a negative way. Yeah. Right? When your friends tell you, let's do this, not saying that you're going to have bad friends or anything, But your friends are always going to tell you something that is not aligned to the things that you value the most, even if you've been with your friends for a long time. Yeah. And when your friends tell you, let's do this, and you know that this time I'm going to dedicate it not directly to spending time with my family, but doing things that are going to affect my family positively, then it's always going to be a no. So the way of an essentialist is to know your value system and know what is a definite yes and what is a definite no. That allows you to have a good decision-making system.